Have you thought about buying a second home? Whether it's for a family getaway, an investment, or you're already planning for retirement, owning a second home can offer tremendous benefits. But it's important that you understand the process and the financial commitments before you just jump into buying a second home. So, I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about purchasing a second home today. Why would you buy a second home? There's several reasons that people do this. Some of the most common are to have a vacation home, to have asset diversification. Real estate is still one of the best investments that you can make. So instead of having your money tied up in stocks and bonds or CDs, a lot of people want to invest in real estate. You might be doing it for rental income. You may be doing it because you're planning for retirement. You know that in 5 years you're going to be retiring. You know that you want to move to this area. Why not buy a second home? You can work on it over the next 5 years. You can enjoy vacation time in it. And then once you're ready to retire, you've already got the house. You have a place to go. Sometimes people do it for family housing. Kids going to college, a lot of times now, parents are buying them a condo or buying a house. They're getting some of their classmates to rent from them, and then they can sell that house once their kid has graduated from college. Or if you have an aging parent that you need to sell because they live 2 states away and you want to buy a home closer to you so that your aging parent will be nearby if they were to need help. The next thing you have to think about is, can you afford a second home? So if you're going to be financing that, you need to understand that now you're going to have 2 mortgage payments. And you need to be financially secure enough to handle both of those. Because if that renter doesn't make a mortgage payment, if you're counting on it as an investment property, and the renter doesn't pay their rent, or the classmates that you've put in this house with your kid doesn't pay the rent, you've got to be able to cover that, and you may have to cover it for an extended period of time depending on the situation and trying to get the renter out. Obviously, if you're buying it for yourself as a vacation home that you plan to retire to, that's going to be 2 mortgage payments that you're going to make if you still owe on your primary residence. You need to think about down payment money, because second homes, you can't get those with FHA. You're going to need at least 10 to 20% down if you want to buy a true second home. You need to think about those utilities and the insurance cost. You need to think about any kind of maintenance that's going to need to be done. Who's going to mow the yard? Who's going to take care of things? Who's going to let you know if the gutter starts falling off or there's a monsoon and you may need to check the house for flooding? You need to think about any repairs that you're going to have to make. And then you also have to take into account, of course, the property taxes that you're going to be paying on that home as well. So we talked a little bit about mortgage financing is different for a second house. You're going to have at least 10% down. You're going to have a higher credit score than you would to buy a primary residence. And your debt to income ratio, they're going to tighten that up a little bit for you as well. And you're probably going to be looking at 36 to 40% total debt to income ratio in order to qualify for a second home. You're not going to be able to use any of those government financing such as FHA, VA, rural development. You're going to have to rely on conventional or jumbo financing. What do you think about second homes? Would you like to own one in 2025? Leave me a comment and let me know what's your biggest concern about buying a second home.